Are you not sure if you have what it takes to create videos? Do you think, no one wants to listen to me? Guess what? You're wrong, and we're gonna discover why in this video. Check it out. I'm very excited to be joined today by YouTube expert Roberto Blake. I would love you to tell us really what kind of content do you create on your YouTube channel and who is it for?
I like to think of myself as a creative entrepreneur and somebody who understands the struggle that starving artists have, and that there is a lot that goes into the mental health part of that conversation with just not feeling validated in what you do. But also I want to introduce to people the idea that they can do more, they can be more, and that there's a path for them. They don't have to be a starving artist, and they don't have to suffer for their creative in that way. Part of the real issue with, I would say, imposter syndrome, a lack of motivation, burnout, all of that comes down to expectations being unreasonable in the face of a reality that you don't expect. And I know everyone wants to feel some sense of acceptance, validation, that their hard work is paying off and all of those things, but the way that I approached a lot of it was trying not to be so critical or so hard on yourself by realizing that it is a process and a journey, and that everybody who came before you went through exactly the same thing. But I also think that part of the way people struggle with this imposter syndrome is they're constantly comparing themselves to other people's end game versus their beginning, like people who are much, much further along. It sets unreasonable expectations that you burden yourself with in terms of what you should be capable of, versus respecting your journey and respecting your own process and taking stock of where you are right now. I think that anybody can be successful if they have structure and support. And so that's what my channel really offers.
Did you deal with some of this imposter syndrome concept at the very beginning when you were starting out?
I've been doing this consistently for, I think it's actually, as of this month, I think it's 6 years. I think it was July 2013 that I started putting out weekly videos. And of course, I felt a little bit of it. I would say not as much, because having already experienced burnout and those kind of things in my corporate life prior to, I approached it with very reasonable expectations. I was working my way up to someone who would deserve an audience one day. And so I was focusing on how I could make everything better and make a better experience for someone who would happen to find my videos or watch them. As a creative person who's tried different things, I realized and have had the previous disappointments and the previous struggles of starting something wide-eyed and then being humbled by reality.
When we start something like a YouTube channel, we're either feeling like no one will listen to us, or we have outrageously unrealistic expectations, right?
Right.
And you went into this saying, hey, I just want to create great content. I'm going to set my bar not super high, because it's not about the numbers in the beginning, it's about serving the people. Is that right?
Exactly. No, it's I knew that I was watching the playbacks because you have to edit. And I'm like, man, my on-camera energy sucks. It needs to get better. But I'm like, the only way to do that is to just suffer through it and to make more content. That's what people who are actors, actresses, dancers, performers, all people who put themselves out there, public speakers. Practice makes progress. And so I'm like, well, I haven't done this before and I haven't done a lot of it. So I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to struggle through the first 100 of these, right? And so I did. I leave those videos up today so people can see the gap between video 1 and video 1400. You have to realize that progress is incremental. I am now known by people as being a very good public speaker. It's why I get to speak at Social Media Marketing World. Thank you for that, by the way. But it's a goal for a lot of people in this space and everything like that. That's the big time. That's the big show. Now, how I got there is the fact that if I had let my imposter syndrome overwhelm me to the point of not even being willing to show up on YouTube or to do live streams later in the era of mobile live stream, which is how we met, I would have never had the ability to have opportunities come to me. And I would have never been known for anything, and I would have never gotten the chance to deliver value if I let the potential of who I could serve. I could cheat them out of that value by being too much in my own head. And that's how I got to become a public speaker.
What tips do you have for people that want to create YouTube videos with confidence? Any things you do to kind of pump yourself up, or anything you advise your students?
The first thing that I look at doing is, can you create a comfortable environment for yourself so that you have less anxiety? I've struggled with anxiety all of my life. There were points in my corporate career where I had panic attacks to the point of going to the hospital. And it's important for people to realize that your headspace is everything. So what can you do to improve your headspace? Wear comfortable clothing. Something that I do, as you know, is I dress very casually and I don't put on airs. And part of that is I feel empowered and comfortable when I'm in the garb of what represents me as an artist, and the ability to like get my hands dirty, go out and do work, go and get on my hands and knees and do a photo shoot. That's what I want to wear whenever I'm on stage, and that's what I want to wear whenever I present or whenever I'm on camera, because it's authentic to who I am.
Right.
And so for me, that's my armor. I live in my authenticity as my armor. It makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel powerful. And my confidence on camera is much better in many cases than it is if I'm in a crowded room, because I'm an introvert. So I'm in my fortress of solitude. I'm in my happy environment that I've accustomed to pump me up. And being excited about something actually matters because I talk about things that I know. That way I can be confident in them. Anything I can say with enthusiasm and excitement is powerful and will give me more confidence.
So lean into your thing.
Exactly. Go with things that you're excited about, that you're interested in, and that you are competent in, and that will help you with raising the bar for your confidence. For me, one of the important things that I had to do was I had to understand and accept that criticism might happen, but I had to also tell myself that just because that's someone's experience doesn't always make it valid criticism, because they don't have the context of what I might have been going for, or what the process was, or that these are just the limitations that I have that I'm working within. So I had to give myself a little bit of slack and say that there's room here to grow. And I think if you acknowledge that there's room to grow, it makes it easier to say, I mean, I think a lot of people's problem is like, I just don't want to put out garbage. I don't want to flood the internet or the world with more garbage or more crappy content. And I'm like, that's unfair and unreasonable, because if you were an artist or an illustrator, you'd be balling up papers and throwing them away. If you were a painter, you'd be burning canvases. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Creating is what you're saying.
There is a process to creativity that requires a coal pile. I think that a lot of people don't have patience for the process. They want to jump ahead to feeling validated in perfection that might never come.
Right.
And I think that what you have to do is respect the process in order to respect yourself.
Tell us about this cool video that everybody can watch to learn more about some of this kind of stuff.
So I have this video that I filmed a couple of weeks ago. It's a very powerful video about the struggles with motivation and depression. I really recommend that you watch it if you're somebody who feels like you're procrastinating and that your emotions sometimes get in the way of accomplishing your goals.
Watch it right here and subscribe to his channel.